pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
All right, welcome everybody to Sim Racing Media, home tonight of the Dynasty Racing League. I am Mike Damoni up in the booth. Join me, Matt Metler. Matt, how is it going, man?
It is going fantastic. Dynasty back for installment number 2 as we invade ATL ARCA style, and it is going to be fired up in prime time. And if it was anything like last week, Mike, you are in for a wild one.
Yeah, it definitely looked like last week they put on a heck of a show, only having 3 cautions at Las Vegas, but they had 5 different leaders, 9 lead changes, so there's plenty of action going on. Thomas Harmon was able to bring home the W, leading 58 laps last week.
Yeah, Harmon took the W in Sin City in Las Vegas, in which was a thriller. Came down to the wire. Caution came out very late in that one. I was going ballistic. If you watch the replay, if you haven't, watch it back. I'm sure you'll get a laugh out of it. But this week, we're staying with the same type of cookie cutter 1.5 mile setup, but we're at the old Atlanta. Guys, don't change the focus on your TV. It's the old school car, so why not the old school layout? This track here is like a cheese grater, as you know, Mike. Tires, they're getting those Dr. Feel Goods will be Dr. Feel Bads in no time. Slipping and sliding all over the place. Really widens the line out here. You'll see 2 and 3 wide at sometimes. And it's going to be a great night here in prime time as Dynasty takes over, as I said before, Atlanta Motor Speedway. So we're getting ready to roll through qualifying here momentarily.
Now these guys are getting their last few practice laps in before they hit the track for that qualifying effort. This is going to be round number 4 for them. After winning the first 2 races, Austin Collins did not find himself there again, but he is on top of the pylon as far as the season's point lead with 160 points. Not too far back is Brandon Robry. Hope I'm saying that right. With 145. Tyler Butcher Benjamin sitting in third, 17 back. So that is where they stand before we get into this race. Like they got just a couple more seconds here. We'll get to racing.
Yeah, we're just winding down the weaning moments here in practice. And getting back to the standings, Tyler, a.k.a. the Butcher Benjamin, I thought he was going to come up and steal that one last week. I felt like he had the car on the long run speed. And like I said, we saw a phantom caution come out at just the perfect time to set up a great overtime battle for the win in Las Vegas. Tyler, the Butcher Benjamin, didn't get the job done, but I think he should be one of the favorites here tonight as he looks to carry that momentum from Atlanta. As we're now taking a look at the 0-6 of Andrew McKenzie. Oh, he's getting a little loose coming off the corner. That low downforce. These cars don't have that active aero like that next-gen car does. And you're going to be seeing these drivers up on the wheel fighting, battling to keep that thing straight all night long tonight.
Yeah, you said tires are going to be everything. Well, they only have 4 sets sitting in the pits, so they definitely will be trying to split this out as much as they can as we're headed for 162 laps here.
I'll tell you what, Mike. That many laps on those limited amount of tires, don't put me in this race. I'll be in the wall before you know it. But look for some of these guys to really put their skill set to the test, because you're absolutely right. You're going to have to limit those tires if you want to save them over the course of this run, and let alone maybe have a fresh set for the end of the race. So we're going to have to see how the strategy in this one plays out.
As they just wave the checker flag here on practice, we'll get them set up and get that qualifying underway here. We'll see who gets on the pole. Looks like we've had Thomas Harmon got on the pole, Elliott Drummond, Sam Maxwell. They all were able to claim poles this season, so we'll see if we have a new pole leader or if somebody else jumps out.
Speaking of Tyler the Butcher Benjamin, there he is, first to attack the track in qualifying, rocking that 08 paint scheme back from the DEI days in the what was then the Nationwide Series. Dale Jr. piloted that car. I believe Tony Stewart did, and Kevin Harvick may have been in that car once or twice as well. Very reminiscent of the early 2000s going around this 08 configuration of Atlanta. As Tyler Butcher the Benjamin's working the high side of the racetrack, as he's going to be coming around here to complete lap 1. See where he scores up on the pylon. Remember, they get 2 laps around this 1.5 mile oval. The best of 2 is the time they'll take.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of these guys try and stay as high as they can on this first lap, try and get as much momentum, but it is also very dangerous when you get up there, as it looks like we do have a couple guys completing their first laps. Let's see what Taylor here. Taylor goes 31.65. Thomas Harmon completed his first lap of 31.74. Caleb Steimer at 31.80. James Pandolf here with a 31.87. So everybody who's completed a lap are all relatively close there.
Yeah, I mean, especially the 8, as I was predicting he may be a favorite here. Oh, as JP comes up and steals the pole from him at a 31.6. Oh, the Butcher Benjamin strikes back. It's a slugfest in qualifying, picking up where they left off last week at a 31.572. As we're watching the 74 of James Pandolf, can he dethrone the Butcher? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so as he's on the cool-down lap. But we still got plenty of qualifying to go as the 42 No Bull throwing it back to Jimmy Spencer, Mr. Excitement in that 42 machine.
That looks like he just completed his lap. good enough for third with the 31.64. Let's see if we can catch up with Robbie Armstrong here in that cookout number 3 Chevy.
Yeah, the cookout might be letting the back of that car hang out just a little bit in qualifying, as we've seen some of these guys do. And you're right, Mike, especially with the amount of practice these guys ran, all that loose stuff up near the top of the groove. And when you're up there in qualifying, trying to get every ounce of speed rang out of that machine, it's really easy to slip up just a little bit, and you don't have too much room to catch it. I like that cookout paint job. He's got the modern Ford Mustang look on that vehicle, looking spicy out there. He comes in at a 30. He comes in at a 31.883.
I was gonna say, all these guys making their ARCA cars look however they see fit. Like we got 13 drivers that have taken a qualifying lap. Got about 7 or 8 more left to do it.
Yep, the first of the Vanderplats looking to take on the field, or I'm sorry, on the track right now for his first round of qualifying. He's over a minute. I'm going to say something went amiss on that attempt. Perhaps he has one more lap he can make up for it, but that 1 minute 4 second time, that's not going to get you very far up the pylon. We're looking at right now the 82 of Chris James. He had strength at times last week in Las Vegas, rocking the Matt Kenseth throwback Killer Bees DeWalt, which was made famous in that Roush machine. Oh, gets a little loose there. You don't want to come down below the, maybe he was coming down to speed at first, but first glance I thought he got underneath that white line, and that is treacherous if you do that at speed, especially transitioning from the bank onto the flat.
I'm gonna say, I don't know what Austin Collins is there. Like he ran around and stopped just short of the start-finish line.
Yeah, maybe he had mixed emotions on qualifying, decided to start in the back as we're watching that 93 of the Sizzler, Matt Sizzler out there. In the 93 Dodge Intrepid Mopar paint scheme, reminiscent of what he won last week. We shift gears to the 99 of Justin Sorrell. He's currently 9th in the board as far as the speed charts are concerned at a 31.761. And I believe that's going to wrap up qualifying as the 29 of Elliott Drummond overtakes the Butcher Benjamin for the pole here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, clocking in a time at 31 and change as we get ready to stack them on the grid. So what do you think, Mike? You got 160 laps here at Atlanta in prime time under the lights. I know our sim time's a little different, but this track's going to heat up. The groove's going to change, and we know these tires are going to fall off, and you only have 4 sets. What's the secret to making it through this one until the end?
I think the first part is you're going to want to limit your tire wear. Try and get this tire set as far as you can into the race, and then kind of let the cautions and the race kind of come to you after that. But it looks like we've got 20 set to go, so we'll go ahead and run down through the grid here. Elliott Drummond on the pole in that 29 Goodrich. Taylor Butcher Benjamin on the outside of row 1. Row 2, James Pandolf, David White, Brandon Brobery, and Caleb Steiner. And we've got Thomas Harmon and Matt Sisler in row 4. Row 5 is Justin Sorrell and Larry McKenzie Jr.
All right, to bring him rest of the way through the starting grid. In 11th, that's going to be the 10 of Chris Vanderplatz. Starting 12th, the 3 of Robbie Armstrong. 13th belongs to Andrew McKenzie. 14th residing Sam J. Niederhelm. 15th, Chris James. 16th, David Vanderplatz. 17th, Richard Springer. In 18th, that is going to be Austin Collins. In 19th, the 51 of Craig Meyer. And starting 20th, your final qualifier here at Atlanta tonight as we start to roll off, that is the 07 of Larry McKenzie. So all cars are rolling off here right behind that Ford Mustang iRacing.com pace car. As they'll be taking us around here at pace speed as these drivers start to bring that car, those tires, back up to temperature just a little bit. And Mike, as you were saying, you want to maximize your tire life over the course of this run especially. And as a race car driver, you're trained to do exactly the opposite of that. Talk about the mental toughness these drivers are going to have to potentially save these tires for the first 40, 50% of this run before they really can potentially go hard. And I don't even know if they can go hard trying to make this tire set potentially go, plus 40 laps.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. I mean, most of these guys are trained to basically hold it to the floor, especially at these super speedway types. As the pace car is off, Elliott Drummond hits that Geico restart zone, and we are underway officially here for round number 4 at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Dynasty Pro Series.
That's right, Elliott Drummond, the 29 machine, play them to the green flag here at Atlanta as the Dynasty Racing Leads invades Saturday night primetime. Taking a look on the top side of the racetrack, that's going to be Taylor the Butcher Benjamin fighting on the outside. Let's see if he can get a run and clear him in 3 and 4. He does, but look for that 29, reminiscent of the old where did he come from. Kevin Harvick fighting back on the inside, but Taylor the Butcher is going to have the preferred line. Switch the spots up. Taylor the Butcher to P1. Elliott, your pole sitter, slides back to the second position in that 29 ride.
Yeah, it looks like we had a little bit of an issue getting going. Looks like Chris James jumped right to the pits after the start there. James Pandolf there also went fading back as he got a little loose coming out of 1. But we are still green as Benjamin is running away right now from Drummond.
Yeah, and you got to wonder to yourself, Mike, is the 8 machine just pushing it too hard right now? Like you were saying, the only way you're going to really, have something to work with at the end of this race is you have to race the racetrack, and you can't race yourself. You have to just be patient. You have to manage your car, and you got to have something, especially those Dr. Feelgoods around to compete at the end. And I just, again, I'm very new to this series. I know he raced a heck of a race last week, but when you're checking out almost to over a second lead already and you're 4 laps in, something tells me he might be cooking the bacon underneath the rubber on those tires a little hard right here in the early opening.
We'll start seeing it probably in a couple, I'd say probably about 5 or 6 laps. You'll start seeing probably that back end start sliding a little bit if he is overcooking those tires, especially here in this car. But as he's out to a lead, let's go back and take a look back here towards the 3rd and 4th with Caleb Steimer and Matt Sosler.
Yeah, Caleb Steiner and Matt Sisler, the 93 machine and the 18 Joe Gibbs ride. Those guys are no strangers to doing battle out there on the racetrack. They couldn't seem to get away from each other last week as the 93 is going to pull the slide job right up in front of him. Good heads up, letting out of the throttle, letting him in. You'll see that gentleman's give and take early on in this one, but as the laps start to wind down, all driver etiquette goes out the window when they go to do battle. But right now, they'll let that slide. As the 18 machine of Caleb Steimer, he started 6th. He's climbed the leaderboard up to 3rd, I'm sorry. And the 93 of Matt Sisler is also on the move, charging right up through the field with the 18.
Yeah, and then you look back behind him, looks like Larry McKenzie Jr. there got a... Oh, that wasn't him. He's on the inside. 74, Pandolf.
JP, James Pandolf, in that Budweiser machine, working the top side of the racetrack early on. He's finding some speed up there, though.
Yeah, you've seen him get loose a couple times, fade back a little bit, then all of a sudden he has this massive run that he's able to work with either on the low side or up high. The 24 slides up almost in front of him, thinks better of it, stays down on that inside lane.
Yeah, the Hornet's Nest is building right around the 74 JP. He's your league manager, league owner, and that's where the battle in action is right here on the racetrack as he is stuck on that outside right now as there are cars all around him racing for position. As you look at the 18, going to try and make the pass on the inside. He's going to slide up the hill just a little bit. Thought he may have touched the 18 machine, but he's going to cut it back down low as they're starting to slip and slide coming off the corner already, Mike.
Yeah, these guys are racing pretty hard. They're going up and down the track, whereas Taylor Butcher Benjamin here is pretty much just running his own race. First lap was a 31.66. Now he is backed off to a 32.5. So he's definitely kind of got the lead. Now he's going to work his tires a little bit, see if he can maybe save them. Try and run basically the same even line, but you can see he's got half a straightaway lead right now.
Yeah, it's out there just like a Sunday cruise for the leader, but everyone else from second position on back is in a dogfight 2x2 right now. As we're looking at the 29 of Elliott Drummond and the 45 of Brandon Broby. He's on the top side. Ramada hides the cookies. 29 still working the bottom, just like old Kevin Harvick did back in the day. And look who continues to march towards the front. It's that 93 of Sizzler, followed by the 74 of James Pandolf.
Yeah, like I said, Pandolf got a little bit loose there early, faded back, but now he's making his way towards the front. Matt Elected didn't really put down his best qualifying effort, but he's working his way through the field almost at will on that high side as Elliott Drummond, our pole setter, is fading back.
Oh, that got dicey there for a minute. Sorry to cut you off there, but that 24 Barry the Gant Skull Bandit car of Larry McKenzie, oh, he just about took out two cars there as he kind of just forced his way in there. Not sure if he realized it was that tight. But then again, these guys are going over 160, 70 miles an hour, so those gaps do fill up quick. But that could have been disastrous, but he was able to keep his nose clean. All cars keep moving forward, but I thought that was going to be our first caution flag of the day.
Yeah, that is the thing when you're sitting here watching these guys. Those gaps open and close so quick, and if they don't take advantage of them, they're going to go right up on the nose of somebody else.
Or last week, as we coined the phrase, monster trucking. But then again, that was probably a once-in-a-season event. Don't look to have a repeat of that this week, but my gosh, the racing on the racetrack right now. You see some contact there, Mike.
No, it looked like Elliott Drummond just had a connection issue, was there and went away in a hurry. Right in front of almost everybody.
Yeah, as you know, these tires give you very little warning. They're starting to go here at Atlanta. And if you guys at home don't know, if you're new to SRM, make sure you smash that like button, ring that bell. Come home to us right here. We got you covered 7 days a week for all your high-octane eSIM racing action. These tires, they wear out in a hurry here at this old Atlanta. That track surface is like a cheese grater, just eating and sawing away at these tires lap after lap. And within 20 laps, these drivers are, I would say if I'm in that race car, want to come down pit road every 20 laps or so. But they don't have that luxury, only having 4 sets of tires. So these drivers are going to be holding on for dear life, especially the way these guys are racing around here right now like it's 20 laps to go.
Yeah, these guys definitely are going to have a little issue when they start getting to that sliding point, because you're looking at trying to get like 40 laps out of the tires. I mean, give or take. So definitely probably about 10 more laps than you want to have when you're sliding around here.
We got someone in the abyss on the back straightaway. Saw someone off track and spun around there. Not sure who it was. We still remain under green flag conditions. Getting a report, it may have been Austin. Getting a report, it may have been Austin Collins, but I'm not sure. Or I think it was Elliott Drummond.
Yeah, Elliott Drummond looks like he's... I don't know what in the world just happened, but it said he crashed into the wall, but there is nothing on there.
Yeah, I didn't see him hit the wall. I just seen him way out of shape and going in the wrong direction in a hurry. But I didn't see any contact. But Apparently, race control feels there wasn't any contact either, or reason to throw the caution flag, and we stay green. And if it's anything like last week, to extend upon what you were saying, like running 40 laps, some of these guys at Las Vegas went 45 to 47 laps under green flag conditions, because that caution flags were at a premium last week. I mean, we only had there are far few and in between. So when you take that and apply it to Atlanta Motor Speedway, all the more reason to really want to save and conserve your stuff. Almost the exact opposite of what they're doing out there right now.
Yeah, you can see these guys just kind of almost pouring it on, but Taylor Butcher Benjamin here, like I said, fastest lap was pretty much his first lap, 31.66. Now he's down to 33 seconds, but everybody else is running 33 or slower, it looks like, except for maybe like Thomas Harmon is a little bit quicker than that, but looks like the fall off is happening pretty quickly here. So
yeah, the fall off is happening quickly as we got over 2 seconds of fall off. They were not even working lap 20 as of yet, as we're currently still on lap 19. As we're looking at right now, the 68 of Thomas Harmon. He's got that Cartoon Network Scooby-Doo paint scheme on that Chevrolet Impala. If I remember correctly, there it is. Good looking 68 machine as he's continuing to march his way through the field. Started 7th. He's knocking on the back door of a podium spot, currently residing in the 4th position. Under attack, though, from that 24 of Larry McKenzie. Everyone's on the attack pretty much out there right now. I don't see anyone riding other than our leader that has a 3-second lead on the field.
yeah, I don't see anybody back there taking really any undue chances, but they're definitely not just sitting trying to log laps, as you'd say, like if this was the new Atlanta, where it's more of a super speedway type. Let's go back and take a look here at Craig Meyer. Craig Meyer, number 51, is up 8 positions, currently running just outside the top 10 right now in that Menards 51.
Yeah, he's, like you were saying, he is the biggest mover of the race so far, Mike. He is up 8 spots, about to crack the top 10. He's got that 51 machine dialed up right now, showing some good long run speed. How the heck did the 74 get back there? I guess maybe there was another incident, or maybe he had another slip up, but the 51 continues to go forward as some of these drivers may have used their stuff a little too hard early on. The old saying, comers and goers.
Exactly. I think you're going to see that happen quite a bit. Some of these guys that elected to qualify either in the back or just happen to find themselves there are kind of riding around the first 10 or so laps, and now you're starting to see them move a lot more. You're seeing a lot more pluses on your timing and scoring monitor than the minuses, really.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of green on the scoreboard right now, and that's always a good thing, except if you're one of the few guys that have fallen back 11 positions. Unfortunately, like the 74 machine of James Pandolf, he was really fast early on, and Mike, you and I thought he may have been going a little hard as he was right on the edge of grip, got loose a couple times, and those Dr. Feelgoods have became Dr. Feelbads as he resides all the way back in 14th, so you know that man's looking for a caution flag right now.
I think a lot of these guys are hoping for a caution flag, because they'll come in and get tires regardless of where they're at, because you want those 4 Dr. Feelgoods quick. See the 99 of Justin Sorrell start to fade back a little bit after he's riding on that high side.
Yeah, and you can finally start to see these guys, calm down just a little bit. And just as I say that, the 51 pokes his nose inside. But I'd say this is the calmest they have probably looked since the drop of the green flag. And that's probably because these drivers are having a heck of a time holding on to these race cars, let alone trying to change lines and outbrake or out accelerate someone off the corner.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as they have kind of calmed down, let's go ahead and hit our first break here. Let these guys log some laps. You won't miss anything. And we will be back with you shortly. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Dynasty Racing League Pro Series. Once again here on Sim Racing Media. You guys didn't miss anything, and you saw some of the action that was going on. These guys are definitely starting to call for tires. Looks like we are going to have our first pit stop. Maybe, no, just staying down.
Yeah, David Vanderplatz, I think, just staying down out of everybody's way. As while we were away, but we kept you guys in the game. You saw the 8 machine, your leader had his hands full getting around some lap cars. Then we seen the 51, I believe, of Craig Meyer almost get into it there, just trying to, as he lost the back of the race car. So you're absolutely right, Mike. I mean, these guys right now are holding on for dear life. They were only at lap 32. And to make this strategy work we're talking about, you have to go to at least lap 40, 45. And which probably feels like an eternity to some of these drivers. But the guy with the best seat in the house right now, not under any pressure, he can just take his time right now, doesn't have to overdrive the race car, is that number 8 Oreo machine of Taylor the Butcher Benjamin. And it looks like that strategy paid off where he just took off like a missile. I thought for certain he was going to burn his stuff up, but he was able to gap him a little bit. And then as everyone's tires, you know, has over the course of this run fallen off, he's been able to just maintain that 3-second buffer that he has. So great heads up and great strategy call to his team so far. It has worked. But how about Thomas Harmon, that 68 machine, started 7th, he's up to 2nd, and followed him right behind him pretty much the whole 34 laps of this one. The Sizzler, the 93 Matt Sizzler, he came from 8th. He's up to 3rd.
Yeah, both of those two drivers are up 5 positions from where they started. As Brandon Robry here was running in 2nd for quite a while, and then all of a sudden, looks like his stuff kind of went away from him, so he started slowing down. He's running almost 34 seconds now. But everybody is going to be looking for that pit window that they all have kind of mapped out in their heads.
Or you would hope that that pit window that's mapped out in your head actually comes into fruition here sooner than later. As you can see, everyone pretty much migrating up towards the top side of the racetrack. That's what Atlanta's famous for here, is with that migrating groove over the course of the run as the fuel and the tires wear off. Obviously, the fastest way around here is going to be along the bottom, but that really takes a good set of tires to be able to make it stick down there. Up top, you're going to have more degrees of banking up there, which is going to help the race car transition into the corner. And with that the more that bank angle, you can put the power down easier. But if you make a mistake, you don't have a lot of room before you're in the wall. So pick your poison.
Exactly. You're not going to have much of a advantage or anything if you're in that wall. I mean, you can see the back end of the 51 of Craig Meyer from this view. You can see it get a little bit loose there as he starts to make corner entry.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed on how well he's able to keep that car underneath him with 37 laps on the tires. I thought everyone would be doing the truffle shuffle or looking like it's drift light here, especially coming out of 3 and 4, where it gets really slick, especially during this time of the day. And these guys are really good showing off their throttle control skills as they're keeping that car tracking in the right direction and really not getting any skew in it off the corner. That is impressive. We continue to go on board here, looking out the nose of that 45 machine of Brandon Broby. Currently looking ahead in the camera lens. He's putting his sights on the 93 of Matt Sizzler. We were talking about him and Thomas Harmon as they basically marched up through the field together in tandem. But Brandon Broby starting to close in and make his bid for that 3rd spot.
Oh, there goes the 3. Looks like he's a lap down, though. Robbie Armstrong. He did hit pit lane. Pit lane on lap 35.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Mike. I was going to say it looked like he put 4 tires on that car because He was coming in a hurry and was just rotating around that bottom. Guys at home, that just goes to show you what Ford Dr. Feelgoods does to that race car. It's like you're out there in a GT3 race car and you just left a Chevy Chevette.
And he's trying, he's going to try and get to David Vanderplatz there to get that lucky dog spot in case something does come out.
Yeah, that's definitely where his sights are right now, and I'm going to say with that advantage on fresh tires here, he should be able to go ahead and do so, bar any type of trouble on the racetrack. Is that cookout number 3 machine, he is cooking towards the front of the field.
As you see in the, let's say, as you saw in that back view, looking back there, you saw the 45 of Brandon Brobery get a little loose in that corner exit, so you know these guys are going to be thinking about pit stops sometime soon here.
Yeah, if I'm in that race car, I'm doing the rain dance. I'm hoping someone throws a water bottle. Fans are throwing hot dog wrappers out of the stands to get a caution flag right now because that car, I can tell you from experience in that ARCA car, I love that car. But right now, it is not a fun place to be inside of there. It wants to step out on you at different times. Look at that 3 car that just went by the leader, who still has a second, just about a 2-second advantage over the second place car. I mean, he got his lap back the old school way and just went by the 8 like he was standing still.
Yeah, he got one of his laps back. He still has to get another one, but I mean, he just ran a 32.2 to everybody else running almost a 34-second lap.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, right, exactly. I mean, a 34.5. So, I mean, almost a 35. Some of these guys out there are running 35-second laps, like Chris James, who just ran a 35.70. So, as you were saying, Mike, and we said all along, tires, tires, tires. The game of tires right here at Atlanta under full display right now is we have no caution in sight as the 42 and the 45 here are doing battle once again. David Wright in that 42 machine, the 45 of Brandon Broby. They often find themselves attracted like magnets on the racetrack, and they put on a great show as they did last week in Sin City. Everyone's pretty much working the top side of the racetrack, tiptoeing around here. And it's too bad we can't show the telemetry of these drivers on how they're actually working that throttle. But I can promise you, they're working that throttle. They're finessing it and being ever so gentle on that gas pedal as they complete circuits around this 1.5-mile oval. Is the No Ball Winston car, the 42, is going to peek to the inside. You see the back end step out. Oh, just a little bit right there. Great job by the 42 getting back on the accelerator, but not getting loose and walking it out, as I'd like to say. The 93, though, he's going to get a run, pull right up onto the back bumper, potentially peek inside. He's going to take the bait as the 42 goes all the way up the hill. The 42 should have the energy coming off the corner as the 93 just cannot pick up the accelerator. The advantage to 42, but nicely done by David Wright. Great execution as we now see the 8 starting to run the 68 back down.
yeah,
And we got a...
I'll say the 8, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, let the 68 by so he could get to pit lane without getting rushed or anything. And we have almost everybody headed to the pit lane. Austin Collins, Craig Meyer, Handoff, Chris Vanderplatz, Andrew McKenzie.
Yeah, this is one of those scenarios. Once the first person cracks and comes down pit road, everybody's going to be coming down pit road. Pit road's going to be a hot commodity right now as everybody wants to taste of those new Goodyears. As it's been a handful out there, probably the last 20, 25 laps or so, as we see the 68 coming back down pit road, be working towards his pit crew. As he eyes up the box, he's going to get all 4 tires stopped inside. You don't want to go over that line. Otherwise, that's a penalty. You got to put it in reverse. They'll jack that car up. 2 tires on the right side, 2 tires on the left side. Fill it up with Sunoco Racing Fuel, a tear off, clean the grill, and he'll be back underway in about 14.5 seconds That's how fast the stop happens here in the ARCA series. You see
David
the
Wright
42?
elected to, David Wright elected to stay out another lap, but he's gonna hit his pit box this time. The only other driver it looks like that hasn't hit pit lane is Chris James here in the 82.
And he decides to relinquish what would have been your leader, the 82. Oh, he gets a little loose coming in. Is there a speeding penalty about to be administered as those slick tires just didn't have the bite to get them wound up? We're going to have to wait on race control to see for certain, but that could have been disastrous. Nice recovery as he's got that Killer Bees 82 stopped in the box. As we cycle through pit stops, looking back at that 8 machine, Taylor the Butcher Benjamin, you would think he's going to cycle back to the leader given the lead that large lead he had over everyone else right now on the lead lap.
It looks like he, in fact, will get the lead here as they come back to the start-finish line. Thomas Harmon stayed out an extra lap, and he is right behind him. Craig Meyer up 16 positions in that 51 machine. But definitely doing something right there. Austin Collins right behind him, up 14. And Brandon Grobery rounds out the top 5 in that 45 machine.
Yeah, and inside that top 5, Mike, just to add on to what you said, Craig Meyer's up 16 spots, and Austin Collins in the 1, they are up 14 spots. I mean, you almost would think they took 2 tires, but there's no way anyone would do that at Atlanta. These guys are just really good on the long run as they were last week at Las Vegas, and they're just picking it right up where they left off here. I mean, they got plenty of time left in this one. We're not even halfway home yet, and they're right outside the top 2, top 3, knocking on the back door.
Yeah, these guys definitely are putting on the show. As you see Butcher Benjamin here up almost on that wall, using all the track he can, trying to get those tires heated back up.
Yeah, because cold tires, they're sometimes worse than old tires, and sometimes that'll catch a driver off guard, especially after you come back down pit road and a caution's to come out, and you just don't get those Goodyears up to temperature. They don't have the bite, and sometimes that's when we see cautions breed cautions on the racetrack. When you've just went through a long green flag run, in your mind you have that sense of security from 4 fresh tires, but you forget they're cold, and trouble finds you in a hurry if you make that mental mistake. But not going to look to be the case here as we continue to remain under green flag conditions. 53 laps in the book so far as the 8 machine carries the torch around this 1.5-mile oval.
Now on board here with the leader, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Take a lap around and kind of see how he's gone on that wheel just a little bit. If we watch a little later in the run, I bet he's sawing on it like crazy.
Yeah, I guarantee that wheel's probably going 25 to 30 degrees back and forth as we're on board with the gyro cam here, and I love this because it gives you guys, especially the sense at home, just like what it feels like and what it looks like being up on that embankment through the corners. And you can see how close he gets to the wall there on entry and corner exit. And we were telling you guys, if you make a mistake, you don't have a lot of room to catch it. I mean, look at right there. He is inches off the wall. You slip up just a little bit, well, you're going to be eating it on the top side of the racetrack. Just again to show you just how good these guys here are in this Dynasty League as they continue to do battle here out here on the racetrack. As Thomas Harmon has closed the gap, though, that lead hasn't been under a second, or at a second, I should say, since we were 5 to 6 laps in. So does Thomas Harmon...
I'll say it looks like the pit stops and strategy kind of went away a little bit here. Maybe Butcher Benjamin realized that he used a lot of his tires early. As you see the 3 get up into that wall as Benjamin makes that pass.
Yeah, just you try to do a courtesy and get up out of the way, and once you start going up there, the car is going to carry that momentum and inertia, and you just cannot get it load up. And he made some light contact with the wall. I don't think that's going to hurt him too terribly bad, but you're right, Mike. I think that the 8 realized, hey, you know, I blistered these four tires, you know, that first run. I got to back it off a little bit? Or is it that the 68 has maybe found something on the racetrack? Maybe he made an adjustment on pit road, was able to find some extra speed here. Because remember, that track temp's going to continue to creep up, I think, just a little bit longer before it starts to come back down. And that's going to make you have to change the way you attack this racetrack if you want to stay as fast as you were early on.
Yeah, looking at the track temp right now, it's 101. So definitely hot out there.
Yeah, 101 degrees, especially at Atlanta. That's going to make it a little extra on the Crisco side of things out there on the racetrack. The shade is your friend, though. So where the shade is on the racetrack, that's going to give you some extra bite in the corners, allow you to get off there. But don't be fooled. You got to remember when you're coming down to parts of the racetrack right here where it's in the shade that you don't overdo it, because you can find yourself in the fence in a hurry. As we're going back on board with the Sizzler, now we're looking at the 45 of Brandon Broby. Following it in close proximity of that one machine, Austin Collins, who started 5th, currently running 5th, and I feel like he's been all over the track so far here today. Passed a lot of cars. He went back early on, but he's recovered. Nice recovery by the one machine. But that 45 of Brandon Broby, he's found something in that middle groove to the outside groove as he continues to track down the 51 and the 1.
Yeah, it looks like he's pretty much set on where he wants to run. He used that first stint there to figure out what works best for him and what saves his tires, and it looks like he just going to stay about second, third groove up. And as we were watching that, you did see them have to work around the lap car of Robbie Armstrong. Robbie Armstrong hit pit road on lap 35, got those 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods, made his way around the track, got back on the lead lap, but as soon as the lead lap cars hit pit lane, he was going the other direction.
Yeah, and he's not too much longer. He's now no longer going to be in that lucky dog position, as the 99 of Justin Sorrell is within striking distance and closing in a hurry. So you know that one machine and everybody in his camp, they are praying for a caution flag on the racetrack. You don't want to get mired here multiple laps down, especially in this series, as cautions and opportunities to get back on the lead lap are far few and in between.
Yeah, these guys have kept it green and kept it clean, and you've seen them all over the track. I mean, some guys running clear up high, almost inches from the wall. Other guys get those tires right on that white line, and that's where they stay.
Yeah,
So
very
we'll
seldom do you...
But
Very seldomly do you see him keep it clean, green, and mean out on the racetrack caution-free, because these guys have been downright aggressive at times. I mean, they've forced the issue. They've made holes where they weren't. We've had guys out of control sideways, but they have managed to keep that green flag in the air. True testament that you can put on a great show, beaten battle, without tearing your fenders off the race car. And that's what you come to expect Saturday nights here in the Dynasty Racing League. And that's what they're going to give you, especially on these 1.5-mile ovals. As you continue to watch here, go back up front, change for the lead. Thomas Harmon has reeled in that Oreo, dropped him in the milk kerplunk. And that 68 Scooby-Doo led machine out the front of that hood, where the ponies are underneath that Chevrolet Impala SS, are going to motor right on by. Check the box, new leader, Thomas Harmon, the 68 to the front.
that's Thomas Harmon looking to maintain that momentum he got last week. And so far, he is able to do it, up 6 positions. And he was a little faster when it came to the longer run, as we saw him pass the 8 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin there, lap 38 or so on that first stint.
Yeah, Mike, very reminiscent of that 72 truck. Brian Whitney, you know who I'm talking about in the Fuel Series. He's very good on the long run. And this is kind of how the race or the history books in Las Vegas was written last week. Harmon really wasn't a name up near the front of the field to about 50 to 70 laps in the race, if I remember correctly. He was just patient. He raced himself. He let things unfold in front of him. executed on pit road and was able to just be fast enough to consistently turn quick laps over the course of the run. And he found himself in a victory lane, as I didn't think anyone was going to run down the 8, especially the way he fired off out of the cannon. But the 68 proves me wrong once again. Very reminiscent of that Brian Whitney truck. It's the 68, though. Thomas Harmon, he's out in front right now carrying the torch, as Taylor the Butcher Benjamin has to regroup and figure out some new strategy to get back by that 68.
Yeah, he's going to have plenty of time to do it, as we still have just under 100 laps here in Atlanta. Go back a little ways here. Look at this group of about 5 cars. Austin Collins, Craig Meyer, Brandon Brobery, Matt Sisler, and David Wright all battling back there.
Yeah, all battling back there, and all of these guys, I would say, are aggressive, competitive drivers. If there's a position to be taken, they will go up and take it. Very rarely do they show regards to how many laps are on those tires, you know, and that's just instinctive race car driver. And if I'm the owner of one of those race cars, that's who I really want in the seat of my race car. Oh, as the 45 gets a little loose coming off of the corner, these tires starting to go away already, or is the 45 just running the daylights out of that machine, trying to see if he can size up the 51, get him to make a mistake?
Sometimes that's just what you have to do. You show a little bit of patience and run just a little bit faster so they know you're there, and then you can make that move there, get that pass.
Very reminiscent of that black number 3 good wrench, Dale Earnhardt, the intimidation effect. And sometimes, I mean, Mike, I'll be serious with you. I mean, I'll be dead honest. Sometimes I'll shut that mirror off in my race car so I cannot look back and see who's behind me, so I don't make those mental mistakes and rely on my spotter, because that's exactly what these guys want to do. They'll sit there and just stalk you like prey, right off the back bumper. They get in your head. It's like a mental Hunger Games out there, if you will. We talk about the racing side of it, but sometimes we don't talk about the mental side of racing, or all the other tactics that are out there that Dale Earnhardt exploited so well. But the 45 continues to put the pressure on. The 51 is he's going to move to the top side of the racetrack. The 45, he's working the bottom. He's going to have the lane and the line. Let's see if he has the momentum. As the 51 gets a great run, he is able to overtake the 45 in the corner, but the 45 is going to mount a charge back on the bottom again. Let's see if the 51 is going to pinch him down here. Oh, he gets slideways coming off the corner, but he's still able to get a good, decent launch out of the hole, as he's got the whole train snaking behind him. That's a good battle on the racetrack right there.
There you got the 51-45 battle in there, but you also have the lap car of Larry McKenzie Jr. kind of in the middle of it, and then you have Matt Sisler right behind them. So battle for position, and then one guy just trying to get his lap back.
Yeah, one guy trying to get his lap back and does not want to be the catalyst to set one off. Just, you know, sometimes in that situation, I wish I'd just fall into a black hole, because I don't want to impact these guys on the lead lap. But hey, if you got a car that's capable of going up there and passing cars, because you got to be aggressive too, right? If you're a lap down, you don't see any caution flags in sight. You have to be able to try at least put your team in a position where you can get back on the lead lap. And that means kind of putting your nose in other people's business if you got to go up there to get that lucky dog position.
Yeah, you're going to have to do something, because you don't have cautions. If you don't have cautions, you're not getting it back the easy way. So you got to put in the hard work in order to make any sort of ground. Otherwise, you're just going to basically log laps and try and stay out of everybody's way, as the 45 gets a little bit loose there coming out of the corner.
Yeah, he just got a little bit of a scare there, getting loose coming out of the corner. But with all those cars in close proximity, I'm going to say a little bit of an arrow effect going on there, as these ARCA cars don't have much downforce to begin with, and all that air being displaced by those cars in such short proximity of each other. What's going on with the side of that Skull Bandit car? Looks like he has a bubble hanging out the driver's side fender there when he was coming down the straightaway.
Well, let's see if we can take a look here.
That one camera angle, it just looked like he had something skewed out there, but as we go on board, it looks perfectly fine. Again, after all, this is AI, this is a simulator. Sometimes things do get rendered in incorrect ways, but it looked a little strange there. The car's still looking fast out there on the racetrack, though, Mike.
Yeah, he just got out of the way, let those guys go past. Up front, we've got Thomas Harmon working on the back of the number 3 of Robbie Armstrong. Going to put him another lap down.
Yeah, he's slowly just picking off these lap cars one by one as he continues to mount his charge and assert his dominance here at Atlanta for the time being. 76 laps in the books. We still have a long way to go in this one. It is far from over, but right now he started 7th. He was patient. He took his time. He took the positions when the opportunities arose. And Thomas Harmon and that Cartoon Network Chevrolet Impala SS has dethroned the early dominance of Taylor the Butcher Benjamin and is now almost reminiscing what he did early on, and it's out over almost to a 2.2 second lead.
Yeah, he's got that huge lead now. So you wonder if Taylor Butcher Benjamin's just kind of riding it out to see if maybe he's going to hope for a caution or maybe pull a different strategy to somehow get fresh tires on it quicker, or maybe make this stint last a little bit longer so he has fresher tires at the end.
Or is he just trying to catch the 68 on the snooze button? You know, Mr. Don't sleep on me. I'm just saving my stuff right now. And before you know it, I'm going to kick this thing into high gear and I'm going to start putting the pressure on you. Because these guys, they know how to work every aspect of this race car, and that's physically and mentally. And you're going to see that, like I told you guys before, and Mike, you did as well, here at Atlanta. And that's one of the dynamic characteristics of this racetrack that so many NASCAR fans and race fans love about the old configuration. It just brought you so much drama in so many different scenarios that it's tough to match now that you have that hybrid super speedway, I like to call it. Just two very diverse characteristics of racetrack racing surface. And I'm so glad this ARCA car decided to go back to the 08 configuration, because this really suits the strengths of this ARCA car, in my opinion.
Yeah, as we're sitting back here in 4th, 5th, 6th, looking at the battle going on here with Meyer, Robry, and Sisler. Back and forth they've been for several laps.
Yeah, the 51, the 45, and the 93 last week, they were always a topic of discussion when it came to battles on the racetrack. These guys just always seem to put on a dogfight, at least through 2 weeks here, as SRM and Dynasty Racing League have collided and partnered up to cover their season in its entirety. And these three drivers right here almost looking like they're flying in formation, with the 93 splitting the back of the V-gap, as they're currently led right now by the 51 of Craig Meyer. But at any given moment, one of these other drivers will strike as they get a little bit of a run, little bit of exit off the corner. It's nothing for those guys to jostle position. Oh, someone got really, really high on the high side of the racetrack. I think they may have made slight contact. I believe it was that 51 machine. He got up in the marbles and just about lost it.
Yeah, he got up there, got almost into the wall, about lost it, and then Matt Sisler went to make that pass, slid up, and almost slid himself right into that wall. So definitely these tires are on the slick side as we are starting to get towards that next pit stop window. I imagine we'll see him come down about between 88 and 92 laps or so. So we're getting pretty close here.
Yeah, we're almost getting down to that time again. But Mike, that just goes back and ask yourself, how much are you willing to risk to gain a position out there on the racetrack? The 51 answered that question. And those are the risks that sometimes you have to take, especially under these racing conditions where we just have been, we've been green for the entire duration of this one, as we're working lap 83.
Exactly. I mean, you saw some of the action going on as we do have somebody headed to pit lane. Taylor Butcher Benjamin is hitting pit lane on lap 83 here. So it looks like he wants to try and get the fresh tires quicker and see if maybe he can figure out the best way to get to lap 162 with the freshest tires.
Yeah, and sometimes you can catch these drivers off guard. You can come sneak down pit road and get 4 tires on it before someone else decides to bite and come down pit road. And as the cars continue to come by the start-finish line, I only seen one more taker come down that time. That looks to be Austin Collins, I believe, in that one machine. Yes, that is him coming in for service to his pit box. So, Mike Harmon, if you're listening to this broadcast, the man you're battling right now, that 8 machine, has got 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods on that race car. You might want to think about coming down pit road. There he is. He got the memo. As he gets that car woed up, little wiggle out of the back end of that race car, just trying to make good time, good execution on pit road to stay in contention with the 68 of Thomas Harmon.
Yeah, we got almost everybody electing to come down. It was all a matter of who blinked first. So next car coming to the decision would be Brandon Brobery here.
Yeah, literally, this is a great example of follow the leader. The minute someone bites coming down pit road, everyone's going to follow suit, as these guys are probably exhausted in this race car, as these tires feel like glass out there, or let's pick it up a notch, feels like a speed skate on a fresh set of ice out there. They're just sliding around holding on for dear life, as we watch the 42 there of Brandon Broby working underneath the 42 with David Wright.
And there's Taylor Butcher Benjamin, 4 fresh good years, and he is off and away. Just drove past the leaders like they were standing still.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch, isn't it, Mike, when they get 4 fresh tires on that race car and you're out there with 40 plus. It doesn't even look like it's close, like they're in 2 different car classes almost. But that's really just the tire difference. That's how fast the fall off is here at Atlanta, and the power of 4 fresh Dr. Feelgoods giving you that confidence to drop the hammer at Atlanta.
Yeah, David Wright last pitted on lap 48, so he's got a little ways he could go until he gets there. You see the one of Austin Collins making his way past to get his lap back.
Yeah, and as the fresh tires come on these race cars, we see the intensity pick up once again. And now is the best time to do that, as you're able to execute and, and maneuver this race car at least for a few laps around this racetrack here. As we continue to see, looks like, sorry from that camera angle, I couldn't tell. We got one guy on the bottom of the racetrack there, the 42, talking about, looks like that Haviland powered, that reminiscent of Davey Allison on the bottom of the racetrack. That's going to be, I believe, Brandon Broby or Sam Niedermeyer, I believe. Sam Niedermeyer, there he is, the 07 car. No, that's going to be JP, or Larry McKenzie. I'm sorry, I'll get it right one of these times. JP, or Larry McKenzie, he's started way back in the 18th position. He's currently 11 laps off the pace, but he has stayed out there. It's looking a little racy right now as he continues to do battle, multiple laps down. But all these positions that you gain, if you continue to keep yourself in play, if there was a couple of competitors fall out of this race, coming down to the wire at the end of the season, those points can pay huge dividends. So big shout out to this at 07 and the rest of those guys for staying out there, staying in the game, even though you're multiple laps down.
As you see Brandon Brobery hit pit lane, David Wright has elected to stay out for now. He was the last one to pit on lap 48, so he could probably make it almost to lap 100. So we'll see if he's going to try and stretch this out as far as he can.
From a strategy standpoint, I mean, you would have 10, 11 lap fresher tires than potentially most of the other competitors out here on the field. And at Atlanta, that's huge. So I think you're right. I think we're going to see him stretch this as far as he can possibly go, bar anything else that would change the current flag condition on the racetrack.
As Craig Myers getting his lap back now. So he is losing time, but I don't know how much time he's going to effectively lose when it comes towards the end of this race.
Right, that's just a balance of weights and measures, right? The risk and reward. But you have to take those risks to be able to put yourself in position to be the beneficiary of it. And I just don't see anyone else right now, from what we've seen through 93 laps, being able to hang with that 68 of Thomas Harmon or the 8 of Taylor the Butcher Benjamin. So you're going to have to do something unorthodox, roll the dice. And I like that call, Mike. I think that's a great strategy play, especially if you have a late caution. You basically reset the field, and you got 10 lap fresher tires. That's a nice advantage.
Yeah, especially if you go towards the end of the race here and you have that extra set. Looks like everybody's probably going to be pretty close anyway as far as tire sets go. But
yeah,
David Wright right now has a 20-second lead over Thomas Harmon. But Thomas Harmon had already pitted.
Right, and I mean, 20 seconds, that's an eternity, folks. But remember, that gentleman still has to come down pit road and pit. And a pit stop here in Atlanta under green flag conditions will decimate that 20-second lead. Right now, they are praying, they are doing the rain dance, whatever dance you want to think of in that pit, that the caution flag comes out. So they can all potentially maybe come down pit road again, and he would cycle back out potentially as the leader should everyone decide to come down and pit again. 20-second lead. He's going to change up the strategy. He's going to throw the monkey wrench potentially at the 68 and the 8 and try to play spoiler depending on how this one shakes out here in Atlanta.
Yeah, especially with how much we've been talking about that yellow thing. He's definitely wanting that announcer's curse to come to fruition here. As I look here at the YouTube chat, Autumn Jones checking in. Hearing on the Vanderplats. And Sorel in the 99, Jason Taylor says, hey. And then Rick Steimer cheering for the 18 of Caleb. So everybody's out there rooting for their favorite drivers. David Wright hit pit lane. Thomas Harmon is gonna go past right now. David Wright's still in his pit box getting his pit service done, so he will fade back probably to 7th or 8th.
Yeah, you can fade back in a hurry, Mike, especially, if you stay out a couple laps too long, or, someone else, on that racetrack already has completed that pit stop and they just go motor right on by you, like we've seen it a few different times over the portion of this 97 laps that we have put in the history books so far, and time has certainly flown by, but that's how quickly laps wind, or at times ticks by. When you're running 31, 32 second lap times, we're just about to approach 100 laps, which means we are on the short side of the stick as far as laps remaining goes.
Yeah, and as we talk about that and everybody's kind of spread out, we're going to go ahead and take our second break here, and we will be back shortly. Once again, this is the Dynasty Racing Pro Series live from Atlanta Motor Speedway on Sim Racing Media. All right, everybody, welcome back in here. As we were away, you saw a couple drivers get a little bit loose and get into that outside wall, but we maintained green flag racing. These guys are doing what they do here. We've got about 8 under 60 laps left to go. Leader right now is Thomas Harmon. Taylor Butcher Benjamin back in second. Austin Collins in third. Craig Meyer back in fourth. And Matt Sisler in fifth. JP James Pandolf back in sixth. Caleb Steimer back in seventh. Chris Vanderplat's eighth. Sam Niederhelm in ninth. And Andrew McKenzie rounds out the top 10.
And residing in 11th, running all the way through the field of 42, David Wright. In 12th, that's going to be the 21 of Richard Springer. 13th belongs to the 99 of Justin Sherrill. 14th, that's Larry McKenzie Jr. 15th, the 45 machine of Brandon Broby, who was racing early on, now finds himself 2 laps down off the pace. 16th, the 3 of Robbie Armstrong. 17th, David Vanderplatz. 18th, Larry McKenzie. 19th, Chris James. And rounding out your top 20, the 29 of Elliott Drummond. That's as they won right now, as we are currently working through post lap 100 in this one. Lap 106, 107 now, as the clock continues to wind down. As we see Taylor the Butcher Benjamin, who was so fast, bad fast early on in this one, currently working the high side of the racetrack. Is that Nabisco car is still trying to work its way through lap traffic just off of his nose here. We're in the middle groove. Following close proximity is going to be that 07 machine of Larry McKenzie, who finds himself multiple laps down, but still has himself in the middle of a dogfight right now near the front of this one.
Yeah, the 8 not only has to deal with lap traffic, but he also has to deal with Austin Collins there right on his back bumper now.
Yeah, that's
these
right.
two
Austin,
are battling for position.
Yeah, that's right. Austin Collins has continuously just made his way forward throughout the course of this race. And knocking on the back door, it's not delivery. It's Austin Collins in that one machine, who continues to make a case for his bid late in this one that he may not be denied. He may play the dark horse spoiler before this one's over. He turns it down low, down to the inside of the racetrack, pulls about even with the door of that 8 machine. The 8's going to surge ahead just a little bit, as he should get the run off the corner on the top side of the racetrack. It's a drag race. John Force now down the backstretch as the 8 continues to work the top, and the 1 owns the bottom of the racetrack as they still battle it out side by side. This is a good one.
As side-by-side racing in these ARCA cars here at Atlanta. Benjamin Collins back and forth. Collins is looking to get back to that winner's circle that he had owned the first couple races of the year.
Yeah, and Larry McKenzie. Oh, I don't know if he got loose there or just decided he did not want any part of that battle there, as he was starting to come into the mix hard, as the 1 and the 8 were duking it out. And it looks right now that Austin Collins is going to be the victor of that round, as he punches the ticket up from 18th starting position to 2nd. And Taylor the Butcher Benjamin slowly but surely continues to go the wrong way, as he now owns and occupies the final podium spot in 3rd.
Yeah, it looks like he's having a rough go of it here with a few of these lap cars, as the 99 of Justin Sorrell slides up and down the track.
Yeah, Sorrell looked like he took evasive action there, as he cut it hard left down the racetrack there, like he was trying to avoid something. But I think you're right, Mike. I think he just got a little bit loose there and had to catch it going down the hill. But look at the gap that that 1 machine has been able to put over that 8 machine of Taylor the Butcher Benjamin. Now that they sorted that one out, and he's got clean air and a racing line that's not being affected by another vehicle in front of him.
Yeah, he's going to have to find some rocket fuel or something to catch Thomas Harmon. Thomas Harmon is up almost 5 seconds on Austin Collins right now, but Austin Collins doesn't have the lap traffic that Harmon's going to come to here in just a moment.
Yeah, you're right. Harmon is humming around this 1.5 mile oval. But will there be another change in evolution? We saw the Butcher own, I'm going to call it segment 1 of this race just for purposes of the broadcast. Harmon, I would clearly say, owns section 2. Does Austin Collins, that one car, come up and make a bid and steal this one from from Harmon in the end? Do we get a late race caution like we seen last week in Las Vegas? After all we saw, virtually all race was the green flag. Cautions were very far few and in between. I think maybe we had 2 or 3, and they were very late, as we had a caution flag come out with 3 laps to go, and then went into overtime. And overtime was the right time for Thomas Harmon to win. Last week, we just got to see how this one plays out. But right now, like you said, Mike, my God, is he on another planet as far as performance is going, because he has over a 5.1 second advantage. And if you go through the top 5, there's an 11-second differential between the first place car and the 5th place car, and that is an eternity on the racetrack.
Yeah, the guys back there sitting in 3rd, 4th, 5th, they're hoping that caution comes out, everybody can come to pit road, and we basically reset everything and start the race over. Thomas Harmon here working on the back of the 18 of Caleb Steimer. Steimer's trying to stay on the lead lap, but it is going to be hard for him to do so as he gets loose coming out of 2 again.
Yeah, he may be stifled by Harmon there, as he's going to turn it down to the bottom side. He's eating down there. That car is still hooking up pretty good with this many laps on this tire run, as he continues to work on the inside of the 18 machine. His little drag race down through the dog leg as they head down into turn 1. Advantage to go to the 68 is the 18 looks to lift a little bit and concede that position and let that leader go on by. So make the 18 machine of Caleb Steimer the first car 1 lap down in 8th position. He's the lucky dog as it stands right now. But how about this, the 21 machine, the 21 of Richard Springer? He's going to charge on by the 68, which would make you think he was just on pit road.
He was on lap 105. Made his 4th pit stop, got those fresh tires, and he was moving back around this track, but definitely not battling too much for position or anything like that.
Okay,
Caleb
so they played.
Yeah, I was going to say Caleb has about a half-second lead over Sam Niederheim for that lucky dog spot, so we'll see if that plays out.
So it seems that we have a couple of drivers here that drank the cup of Kool-Aid relevant to the short pit cycle here, and that could possibly work out in favor in some scenarios. But what else are you going to do? You got to try something, as Harmon has just been on another planet, you know, the past 50 or 60 so laps of this one. Austin Collins has been on the move in that one machine. Is he has just cracked the 5-second barrier, but barely. Is he is up 18 spots, up to 2nd. He's got 1 more car in sight. Can he make the comeback the entire way through the field after starting very deep back in this one, in the trenches? That one Bass Pro Shop, Martin Truex Jr. style, back when he raced with DEI and Dale Earnhardt Jr., is on the march right now. He's got the binoculars out trying to find the back of that 68 machine, but he still has a ways to go, as it's a 4.48 seconds up to the 68 of Harmon, who is going past the start-finish line right now. To put that in perspective, how big of a distance there is between those 2 cars.
Hey, look at the different segments here. Collins is slower than Harmon on both, so looks like it's not going to matter too much as far as that goes. But there's got to be something. He's got to figure out some way in order to get Harmon. I know most of these guys are probably thinking they'll make it to lap 30, 35 or so. I wonder who's going to be like, all right, we got 40 laps to go. It's been green the whole. Never mind. I already answered my own question. I was going to ask. I was going to say who decides that it's 40 laps and we're going to hit pit lane, and then the 8 car of Taylor Butcher Benjamin hits pit lane.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been right on the money, I'm pretty sure, Mike, as far as his pit stops. He's been either the first or the second car down pit road. I'm pretty sure pitting right inside that 40-lap window through every pit stop cycle so far. But he's got it parked in the box. Team's going to go to work. The jack's going to come around the car. Ford Dr. Feelgood's going to replace those Dr. Feelbads, take a tear up, scrape that grill one more time, as potentially the money stop is underway right now as he starts to fire off a pit road and climb back through the gears for the final time here at Atlanta, should we have that first caution flag.
Yeah, definitely had to try something. He was going the wrong way, and the wrong way in a hurry, so he will get those fresh tires and get back out on track and try and make up as much ground as he can with a little less than 40 laps to go right now.
Well, see, and that's the other part of this. Austin Collins, he has done magnificent work so far throughout 124 laps in this one. I mean, but Harmon really has Collins right now, right where he wants him, because Collins is playing Harmon's game. If Collins waits to pit when Harmon pits, for 99.9% of the time, if it stays green, Harmon's going to win this race. I mean, does Austin Collins need to try and psych him out here and short pit, come down pit road, get tires now, and hopefully Harmon stays out on the racetrack, gets caught on the snooze button a couple laps, and potentially that 5 seconds is equalized by the offset of the new tires on that one machine?
Yeah, he's going to have to do something, because otherwise it's, like you said, it's follow the leader, and he's hitting pit lane right now. Austin Collins is hitting pit lane. I was going to say it's sideways in the pits.
How did he save that? Miraculous. Every time I have seen that, it has been launched into the abyss of the infield. That car was 90 degrees, and he keeps it straight.
Here we go. Looking from the chopper cam down on the one car here.
Oh, did he get some help from the 07 there?
Looks like he might have just got enough air pushed on that car to spin him around, but able to save it, and away we go. Thomas Harmon's in pit lane as well now.
Yeah, the 007 threw the jet dryer at the back of the one and about jet washed him out into the infield. What a save. I have never seen anyone do that in my life.
He didn't hit the inside wall. Still made it in pit lane. Looks like he was in and out. So he should be good to go.
Yeah, he'll probably have to gather his biscuits, sitting there in the pit box, and rightfully so, because I guarantee he had no idea what happened to his race car there. But the one is completed his pit stop. He is pointing in the right direction. There's no damage on that race car, and that is incredible. So now we have to see, does Harmon come down pit road, or has he already been down pit road?
He went down pit road when we were messing around there. He is just now coming off the pit lane right in front of Austin Collins, as you see him in the forefront and Collins in the back there.
And Austin Collins is at speed as the 68 was coming up to speed. The margin right now, we're going to have to see how this cycles out. But I'm seeing 5 point up. Scoring is updating. Please allow me to wait for that to update as I give you guys the new live differential. But I have to say that even with that miscue on pit road, I think this is going to help Austin Collins out just a little bit.
Yeah, right now it looks like he's only 0.8 seconds behind Thomas Harmon. So he is on one lap older tires, but man, he isn't losing as much ground as was losing earlier. But back to the front goes Taylor Butcher Benjamin with almost a 5-second lead right now.
Yeah, back to the front, but we've seen it before, Mike. That 8 car is fast for the first, handful of sort of laps of the run, and then just seems to fall off. But if you're Austin Collins, man, I mean, you got to be hotter than a $3 pistol inside that race car, knowing if you didn't have that crazy misfortune coming onto pit road, that could have been the difference. And you could have came out of pit road ahead of the 68. But hey, it's racing, things happen. And right now, Austin Collins is going to have to settle it old school with the 68. Oh yeah, but don't forget, that 8 machine is still out front, as I seen someone sliding as we just went away from the 8 car. It looked like that dark Budweiser paint scheme potentially got really loose off of the corner there. We're currently looking now at the 42 of David Wright. Currently
David Wright
running
looks
in.
It looks like he's hitting pit lane now.
So once
three
one
almost got into the 68 there.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that's just a pit cycle there, maybe potentially gone wrong. Is, you know, one car is trying to come up onto the racetrack and other cars are at speed. Could have been a miscommunication there, but those drivers did a great job avoiding each other, as that could have been disastrous. As Harmon continues to log laps around Atlanta in close proximity, Austin Collins can actually see him now in that 1 machine. So is that going to give him a little more incentive to get up on that wheel and drive just a little bit harder? Or does he go into reserve mode, let the 68 burn his stuff up, and track him back down before we close this one out? And as we work lap 132, opportunities to potentially catch the 68 in the 8 are winding down as we have less than 30 laps to go.
Yeah, Austin Collins been dealing with lap traffic, as I've said, at almost the wrong time. And Harmon's been able to get around him with relative ease, so that gap's grown to over a second now. And Taylor Butcher Benjamin had a 5-second lead. It is now down to a little over 3 seconds with less than 30 laps to go.
Yeah, it's, you know, you hate to be in the position of the 8 when you know that you got bogeys closing in on you quick, fast, and in a hurry, and you almost feel like you're helpless in a sense. But that crew chief just has to be that voice of reason to that driver in the race car, have him elevate himself when if and when the 68 gets within striking distance. Don't make the mistake of driving out that back window. Grit your teeth, grip that steering wheel, and don't lift for anything until you see that checkered flag waving. Let the spotters do their job and let you know if you have to, where that other car is on the racetrack. But don't make the mental mistake as a driver to look in that rear view mirror, because that has bit me so many times and times again, especially in these ARCA cars.
Yeah, you see that about a half a backstretch lead that Butcher Benjamin has. Saw it earlier in the race in stint 1, but we will see if he is kind of trying to save a little bit of tires, or seeing if he's going to notice Harmon in the rearview mirror and make his way back to that throttle and drive away again.
Yeah, we just don't know. We're not in the race car if he's full send or not right now. He could be in a conservation pattern or mode right now until maybe Harmon gets within, you know, a second, 1.2 seconds of him, and we'll see if he decides to drop the hammer, go full send, and, you know, or extend that lead back out. Only time will tell. But you're right, Mike, that lap traffic has just been the bearer of bad news to that one of Collins, is that that differential now continues to increase as he's 2.9 seconds back of the leader, almost a full second and a half off of the 68 of Harmon now, as that was under 0.8 when they came off of pit road.
Yeah, he just hit those lap cars wrong, so we'll see if he has something left for the second place car right now of Thomas Harmon, and both of them have to catch Butcher Benjamin. Collins is put in a masterful drive today, up 15 positions from where he started, currently sitting in the last podium spot, though.
I know when you ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Look no further than the one to come out there and prove it to you week in and week out on the racetrack, as he is once again in contention for the biggest mover of the race, right along with that 51 of Craig Meyer, who is also up 15 spots. Oh, and don't look now, but he's right behind him in the 4th position, a little bit further back than these guys right now. But as it stands, who legitimately has a shot if this one stays green to go up there and compete with Taylor the Butcher Benjamin? I'm going to say the top 3. Craig Meyer, as good as this run has been, in 4th, is almost 8 seconds back off of the lead. Bar something breaking on the race car, tires disintegrating like grandma's overcooked biscuits on the racetrack. I don't see how he's going to be able to mount a charge with just these last few laps remain to wind down. And then the last car on the lead lap, that just goes to show you how fast of a pace these guys have set. The top 5 are on the lead lap. 6th through 20th is at least 1 lap down. Oh, is the 21 decides to, oh, he's going to duck hook it back over correct. Could this be the first caution flag of the day? No, he's going to make it to pit road. Caution is going to be avoided once again after contact with the outside wall. Overcorrects, sends it back in there on the nose. Is going to be able to clear all the traffic, get down to pit road, back to his pit box, and we remain caution-free 141 laps into this one.
So he's into the wall trying to let the lap car or the lead cars go by. Just as he sees them go by, he gets right back into the wall, holds it there as much as he can, and then ducks down pit lane. So,
he might have been
heck of a drive there. But as we were watching that, Thomas Harmon has drove away from Taylor Butcher Benjamin by over a second now.
Yeah, he has. I mean, wait a minute. How did that happen? I mean, wow. Harmon just decided to go lights out and put the smoke to it like he hit the military-grade Stage 4 afterburner on that Cartoon Network missile that has been rocketing here around Atlanta. I got to try that paint scheme sometime the next time I go here. Mike, thanks for the replay. As you can see, he just has that car wound up on the high side of the racetrack, and he's just able to get back on the accelerator so much quicker than that 8 machine, especially on that low side of the racetrack. You just don't have that bank angle like you do on the top side there. And that's right when the 21 machine got into the wall as they were doing battle on the racetrack for the lead.
Yeah. He was trying to just stay out of the way and got loose and got into that wall. Luckily, he was able to hold it into the wall, not affect the race at all. We've stayed green. We got 19 laps to go. We got Thomas Harmon and Austin Collins now battling 1-2 as Taylor Butcher Benjamin has faded back into 3rd with a couple lap cars in between them all.
Yeah, a couple lap cars in between, playing the meat in the sandwich as the 8 continues to go in the wrong direction. Late in this one as he is under duress from the 66 machine of Sam J. Niederhelm. He is 1 lap down, though, in the 7th position, I believe. But that just goes to show you sometimes you have great short run speed, which that Taylor Butcher Benjamin has had all race long, as the Monster Energy machine decides to take it all the way down underneath the white line to catch that one as he was on a power slide, able to come back up on the racetrack. And then getting back to what I was saying, sometimes you have it on the long run, like Austin Collins, like Thomas Harmon, who has just been masterful, almost like a Jedi Master out there when there's 25 laps plus on the tires. That car has almost 0 fall off, and everyone else is hanging on for dear life. And you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll give that one to the one of Austin Collins too. What a great run by that gentleman today. I don't mean to, let the performance of the 68 overshadow what he's been able to do, which is very commendable out there as well. I mean, driving up 18 spots and being able to be there up front when it counts, top 5 on the lead lap. You couldn't ask anyone any more out of that driver, the #1 Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, if you ask me.
No, he's actually been matching Harmon almost lap for lap the last few laps. The only one that's been faster is the guy sitting back in 4th here, and he's closing the gap, but he's going to run out of time. He might be able to catch Butcher Benjamin for that last podium spot, but I don't think he has anything left for Harmon or Collins there.
No, you're definitely right. Oh, wow. He has really picked it up in the 51. He is on a laser right now around this racetrack, but like you were saying, Mike, unfortunately too soon, too late in this one, as Thomas Harmon continues to carry the torch around Atlanta Motor Speedway, as we're almost getting ready to clip lap 150, working lap 149 that time by. But Austin Collins, as you were saying, Mike, he is matching the times of Thomas Harmon. Is the one machine getting ready to go Kevin Harvick style, which he made famous back in the early mid-2000s. The closer, where did he come from? Well, that just might belong to Austin Collins, as he's only 1.682 seconds back. And you know he's got to be getting in the head of Thomas Harmon right now, because, I mean, how could he not be? Because he is making a bead towards the front. We're just going to have to see if he has what it takes, or if Thomas Harmon has the mental toughness and the guts and the drive that he's had all race long to carry it all the way home in these closing laps here at Atlanta.
I see the 66 now of Cam Netherhelm on the inside of the one of Austin Collins. Like, he hit pit lane and has fresh tires and is moving around this track pretty well here. But Austin Collins doesn't want to get in his way, wants him to get past and just basically get out of Collins' way so he can try and get back to Harmon. But Harmon looks like he picked it up again that lap and went almost a half second faster than Collins did.
Yeah, but you have to wonder, you know, and again, that's the other side of it that we just can't see. We have to call it off of what we're seeing on the racetrack. Is he just playing with that one car and just, you know, kicking his lap times up a little bit just to build that cushion back up to where it's comfortable for Thomas Harmon to manage? And it almost seems like that is now, you know, the gap is now back to 2.36 seconds again. But to be fair, I mean, Collins is dealing with lap traffic, and we see how detrimental that traffic can affect your lap time if you catch him at the wrong time.
Yeah. I mean, they affect your line and everything else, so Collins is going to have to find some way in order to erase this 2-second lead that Harmon has built.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. But the other side of this too, right? You're also points racing here, sure. Everyone wants to go out and get as many W's as they can over the course of a season. That's NASCAR race car driver mentality 101. But if I'm in that one car, I don't want to risk ruining a great end result here in P2 because I overdrove the car too hard, too late, and found myself in the wall, you know, just with just a few laps to go. Either way you look at this one, a great drive, great show of strength and force by Austin Collins. Just don't make the mistake of pushing too hard late and find yourself in trouble as he wiggles just a little bit right there coming off the corner.
Yeah, he's been thereabouts. Last week was an off week, it seemed like, for him after winning the first 2 rounds here in this Dynasty Racing Pro Series. Winner last week is leading the race this week. So we have our two race winners, or 2 winners in the series, going to be battling out here to see who brings home round number 4.
And just to further that one a little bit more, this is going to really pique your interest, Mike. Austin Collins, those first 2 wins he had to open the season, guess how many laps he led? The last lap of every race, which means he took the lead with 1 lap to go, which is what I thought he was getting ready to do again. And he still could. There's still time. But that one is always seems to be around when it's money time, when it's on the line. And that's where Austin Collins is right now. He's just a little too far back to make a bid for it. As the Butcher Benjamin continues to go in the wrong direction, he might fall into the clutches of that 51. Oh, there they go. There's the battle on the racetrack. The 51 going to power on the top side of the racetrack. The 8's going to send it in down low where he's been all race long. And he's going to bump the Butcher from a podium position is he's now just on the outside looking in P4. What a great drive by that 51 of Craig Meyer as well, as he's going to mirror Austin Collins and gain 16 positions on the racetrack.
I got 5 cars on the lead lap right now as Thomas Harmon is lapping them as he just makes his way around this track.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if we can see what his fall off is over the course of this run, Mike, from when he put tires on his race car until now. But it seems like he's in his own different zip code as far as being able to consistently put up consistent lap times over the course of the run. Like Atlanta, he's almost immune to Atlanta in its legendary tire evaporating skills, or just its heritage, what it's known for, as he continues to just rocket around this racetrack, being absolutely glued. You don't see that car wiggle, wobble. Please don't do it right now. Make me look bad on TV. Thank you, Thomas. But he has just been glued to that racetrack, whether it's lap 1 or lap 160.
Yeah, it's been crazy the way he's been able to maintain his lap time here. Hasn't really fallen off too terribly. Saving it about 33, anywhere between 33.1 and 33.5, depending on laps. And we are at 3 laps to go with Thomas Harmon, Austin Collins, Craig Meyer, Taylor the Butcher Benjamin, and Matt Solsler, our top 5, and the only cars on the lead lap at the moment.
Well, here's another interesting stat for you. If you're in Las Vegas and you're betting on this one, you got trip 6s at the top of the pylon. Harmon's up 6 spots. Austin Collins in second's up 16. And Craig Meyer in third is up 16. So a little interesting stat for you there. The 68, the 1, and the 51 all have 6s in common right now as they run 1, 2, and 3. Those are your top 3. And like you said, Mike, only the top 5 are on the lead lap. And that's the Sizzler, the 93 machine, who's 12 seconds off the pace, but hanging on the lead lap as we continue to come down to lap 162, which I believe means we're going to have 1 lap to go after he comes by the line this time.
White flag in the air. And here we go to wrap up this green flag 162 lap ARCA Series race for the Dynasty Racing Pro Series.
That's right, as Harmon, who has made his name in this series today in this one, he's going to put everyone on notice as he's working through 3 and 4 through the final time today. That Cartoon Network machine has been bad fast with a Wile E. Coyote missile strapped to the back of it as he crosses the start-finish line. It's your checkers, the 68 of Thomas Harmon. He's going to take over ATL right here at the Motor Speedway in Atlanta. He's your winner here this evening, followed by the best of the 16th place increases from Austin Collins and the 51 of Craig Meyer, up 15 spots as well. In fourth, Taylor the Butcher Benjamin, who was led and dominant early on, and rounding out the top 5 in the 93 machine on the lead lap, Matt Sizzler. And there he is, that Mopar 93 Dodge Intrepid paint scheme on that car. Very reminiscent of what Dodge came into the series in 2000 when they had Bill Elliott and Casey Atwood, I believe, as the drivers. He's going to take it down pit road. But what a race, Mike. Green flag the entire way, 163 laps. We saw comers and goers. We saw tires become a factor. We've seen wild, unexplainable things on pit road. Not one caution, and it was still a heck of a race. And big shout out to 68 of Thomas Harmon, as the 1 and the 51 are having a chat there. Well, the 68 is putting on a smoke show, doing the Alan Kawicki victory lap, it looks like, going around the track in the opposite way. Oh, he's going to stop down there.
Up 3 there.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do like Alan Quickie style victory lap, but he just said go over there and have a chat with his friends right there, right before the start finish line.
All right, let's see if we can get you with Craig Meyer.
Plateaued.
Craig Meyer, Matt Metler up in the SRM booth. Do you got me, sir?
I got y'all loud and clear, guys.
That was an epic run by you in the 51 machine. Up 16 spots. You cracked the top 3. You had the speed late. Walk me through this race from your perspective.
Well, honestly, it went a lot better than I thought it would. The way it was there in practice and everything, it was real slick, and back end kept wanting to come out from under it, coming off of the corners and everything. But we got into the race, and I actually had to make myself slow down so I didn't burn the tires off of it. And it just, I don't know, the long runs and not having yellows, it just kind of just come to us.
Yeah, it seemed like the long runs definitely fell into your wheelhouse, and I agree with what you said. Mike and I were having a similar conversation, just how much different practice looked than you guys in race trim out there. Is there any other way that you think you could have had something for the 68 or the 1? A caution probably would have been the best thing, correct?
Normally I would say yes, but with the way these handled here, for me, I needed the long run. I was not good with the short run. The tires just get too hot too quick and they just get greasy. So for me, I needed the long run. I will say that last stint, I did the same thing Austin did. Austin's my teammate, and after I come out of the pits, instead of just taking it easy and just setting a good pace, I just come out and just drove the mess out of it and let it get the tires heated up and let it plateau, and then just drove it, and it seemed to do pretty decent.
Yeah, I'll say you guys had the long runs figured out. Like you said, the one your teammate, you guys both were masters of the long run, and also both the biggest movers of the race, up 16 spots. He comes home third in that 51. But Craig, before I cut you loose, who do you want to thank? Who do you want to give a shout out to everyone that helps you get that race car prepped each and every week?
I got to give a big thanks to Austin, XLR teammate. Our other teammates, they couldn't be here tonight and everything. First and foremost, though, the biggest thank you I got to give is to my wife who lets me do this. So, big thanks to her, and thanks to JP for putting this on. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting this and everything. Just, thanks to y'all and everybody else.
Well, there he is, the 51 Tide Ride, masters of the long run. He's going to come home third. Wanted a little bit more, but he'll take this one. Mike, back to you.
Awesome. Hey, Austin, Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, heck of a run there. Looked like you were playing a little pit strategy to try and get to that 68 of Thomas Harmon there. This didn't quite work out for you. Looked like you were looking to get out in front of him. Otherwise, might have had a different race here. Is that the way you kind of planned it there at the end?
That's what I was hoping for, but I don't know if y'all called it on my pit entrance.
Oh, yeah.
I did everything but wreck, so that didn't help out, but obviously Thomas had problems getting on the pit road too, so it kind of equaled out there. But, yeah, they were too even there at the end. You could drive pretty hard at the beginning, and not really too hard, hard enough, and you would end up just like pretty much plateauing, so even then he still pulled away a little bit. I was just stuck behind those two lappers there. So, yeah, Thomas was super fast. I don't know.
Well, you won the first 2 races. Came home second this time. Looking for the rest of the season, any place that sticks out in your mind?
Not particularly. I know that we go to Charlotte eventually, but I know it's old Charlotte, and I usually like Charlotte, but I don't know about old Charlotte. I never really ran it. So.
Well, heck of a run. Anyway, both of you guys, you and Craig both started towards the back, worked your way up through the field, up 16 spots. Get you another podium finish here, increase your points lead, I'm assuming. So should be good day anyway.
Oh yeah, points. Like I said, JP's got us doing this this new point system, or I guess technically old point system, no playoffs or nothing. You got to come out here and get as many points as you want. I know during that, I didn't want to pit that last stop until Thomas did because I wanted to get that lap led, but I just never, he never pitted and I couldn't wait too long, so I never got that point. But every point matters. So
Definitely. Anybody you want to thank on that #1 Bass Pro Shops?
oh yeah, I got to thank my teammate Craig for coming out here and racing with me. All the guys that come out and race with us here at DRL. JP for putting on the league, you all for doing the broadcast for us. Who else? My mom and dad, got to shout them out. My mom was on me because I didn't shout her out last time. Who else? Anybody in my stream that showed up? I know Matt was there, Keith was there. Shout out to them. So, besides that, anybody that showed up in the stream, and yeah, got it.
Awesome. I will let you get back to celebrating your podium finish. Look forward to maybe talking to you later on in the season.
Of course, yep. Y'all take it good.
All right, Matt. Let's see if we can get you with race leader here.
Thomas Harmon. He's your winner in the 68 machine. Matt, up in the booth. You got me, sir.
10-4, I got you.
Thomas Harmon. If there was ever a dominating performance I have ever watched in the ARCA car at Atlanta Motor Speedway, it was what I witnessed you do in that machine on this racetrack. It was like you decided at lap 35-40 it was time to go, and you said, see you boys later on another planet, and you went out there and dominated this race in green flag fashion. How did you make that car run those laps consistently over the course of that run when Atlanta is known for just decimating tires and giving drivers just, a handful around this racetrack? You were as smooth as could be out there, and that car was bad fast each and every time.
Yeah, it's just a matter of being patient on the throttle and being willing to lift early in corners. I think I was lifting a little bit earlier than most, and I set my brake bias back a little bit, so if I really needed to push it, I could drive it in a little bit harder, trail brake into the corner, and to get it to rotate and still keep my speed up. Almost coughed it away though when I spun getting on pit road on that last pit stop, but thankfully I didn't hit anything and it didn't cause me to lose too much time.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this yet, but you in the one of Austin Collins had some of the craziest miraculous saves and turn of events getting onto pit road or on that money stop that I have seen in a long time. But you're right. You were able just to keep that car pointing in the right direction and able to get an escape with no damage on that 68 machine. And you come back out on the racetrack and you win in dominating fashion. Did the way this race going flag to flag like that, caution free, did you kind of plan for that, or was that kind of surprise that you had to adapt to over the course of this run?
I kind of expected to go that way. I mean, even if we did get caution at one point, we'd get cars wadded up, and you eventually get a few amount of cars that are going to wreck, and you get a long green flag run regardless. But I just, with such a long race, I just planned for it to go green for a while. I did expect a caution, expect us to get a caution at some point in there. Fortunately, it never came, and I was able to recover from that spin.
Yeah, I'll say that you were able to recover from that spin. It was like it didn't even phase you out there, like the Iceman from Top Gun, just getting it done out there at Atlanta. He dominates the house, puts the whole field on notice. Thomas, who do you want to thank on that car before we cut you loose, sir, so you can go and celebrate that victory with your team?
Well, thank you guys up in the booth for broadcasting it to all the fans that show up and watch each week. Sam, my teammate, and all the drivers that show up.
Well, there he is, the 68. If you want to know how to get around Atlanta, learn from the Jedi Master himself, the 68, who made that car bad fast, 40 to 45 laps each and every time around this racetrack, wins in dominating fashion. That is your winner from Atlanta as we close this one out in the history books tonight. Your winner, the 68 of Thomas Harmon.
Yeah, heck of a race tonight, guys. I don't know how else you do it. Going that many laps, green flag runs. But we'll go ahead and go through the field here. Thomas Harmon is your race winner. Austin Collins up 16 spots, along with Craig Meyer, both up 16. So they had heck of a runs. Taylor Butcher Benjamin was out front early, but just didn't have that long run speed to hang around late. Matt Sisler in the 5th. Sam Netterhelm in 6th. Chris Vander Flats. That cuts off his last name. Caleb Steimer in 8th. David Wright in 9th. Andrew McKenzie rounds out the top 10.
In 11th, the 74 of James Pandolf JP in 12th. That belongs to the 45 of Brandon Broby. 13th, that's going to be Larry McKenzie Jr. In 15th, Robbie Armstrong in the 3 machine. 16th, that's going to be the 07 of Larry McKenzie that put a whole new spin on arrow push to the one of Austin Collins as he was coming down pit road. Can't wait for him to watch this replay back. In 18th, that's going to be the other Vanderplatz, David Vanderplatz. In 19th, that's going to be the 82 of Chris James. And rounding out your field tonight, the 20 who started the race, the 29 of Elliot Drunman.
So as we close this out here, and we look forward to the rest of their season, we've got basically two race winners. Austin Collins came out and won race 1 and race 2. Thomas Harmon showed us how it was done in the last 2. They head on out they're at Darlington next week, then head to Bristol after that. So we got a couple new tracks to contend with. We'll go ahead and get Matt's final thoughts here, man. What do you think so far?
I think this Dynasty Racing League has been just what I've wanted here in prime time on a Saturday night. You can't get much more electric and dynamic and the drama on the racetrack without throwing one caution flag as Thomas Harmon, Austin Collins, and Craig Meyer and company put on a barn burner here in ATL. As next week we go to the the track that Lady in Black that's treacherous, one of the toughest tracks on the circuit. It gives me fits Darlington. You would most certainly think we're going to have to see caution flags there. But then again, this is the Dynasty Racing League, and I can't wait till we get to next Saturday, just like I was waiting to get here after the performance I seen in Las Vegas. Big shout out to all you guys in YouTube. Thanks for keeping it real, cheering your drivers on. Remember, become part of the family right here at SRM as we're quickly approaching 3,000 subscribers. Help us hit that mark. Smash the like button. Ring the bell. Mike, I haven't seen you in a long time since we called it in the Fuel Fired Up series. It's been a pleasure to have you back up here with me again as you got treated to a thriller, a green flag run, 163 laps right here in Atlanta. Hey, you can't close out a Saturday night much better than that, in my opinion.
Definitely not. And once again, for everybody here at Sim Racing Media and all the drivers at the Dynasty Racing League, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next week from Darlington.